Hello and welcome to the Incursion podcast, your weekly indie games podcast. We bring you all the indie games news you might want to know. We used to bring you an indie game release schedule, but to be honest, it got too annoying to put together and it probably was super boring to listen to. But we do dig heavily into Kickstarter, or at least Josh does. We find some indie games to talk about. Today, we actually do not have Josh on the podcast. He's on a cool little not skirmish, that's not what I'm looking for. Excursion was what I was looking for. He's on an adventure in a different, just faraway place, bouncing on trampolines and sidewalks. It's a weird world we live in. So today we actually have the founder of Parallax Media, John, on. How you doing, John?
Hello, I'm good. I just ate dinner, so feeling better.
Yeah, what'd you have for dinner? Just to get it out of the way, I had 15 chicken nuggets. What did you have, John?
I did not have 15 chicken nuggets. I had a few vegetables and some beans. Very healthy.
Yeah, there you go. Now you know our dietary preferences. Welcome to our lives. What have you been playing this week? Anything fun or cool? It doesn't have to be an indie game. Everybody comes on and thinks it has to be one.
Right, that's good, because the only thing I've really been playing is Anthem. Yeah, O is the appropriate reaction for that.
You actually just put out the Anthem review on Parallax, right?
Yes, the review is live now. I think it went live a few hours ago, actually. So, yep, on the site right now.
Boom. By the time this goes up, should be up there. You just go to Parallax Media, find the Anthem review. It'd be easy.
Easy, yep. It's interesting.
It's a game.
Yeah, you can, I would say you can play it, but kind of can't sometimes. So it depends, because apparently the game has been bricking people's PlayStations. So I don't know if what part of the game, if they just log in or the middle of a mission or something, but it'll just shut off your PlayStation. You can't turn it back on. Hasn't happened to me yet, knock on wood, but a lot of stories going on about that. Overall, it's okay. I mean, if you can get past all the bugs and technical issues, it's fun. But you have to read the review to get
to get your full thoughts.
Yeah, I don't want to ruin it here, but it's
just shameless plug real quick. You're can't ruin it.
You can't really. But just to kind of summarize, for me it's kind of mixed. You can tell that the foundation is there, but it just wasn't in the oven long enough. I'll say that.
Yeah, that's how I describe it too. It has good bones. That's they
good
just need
bones.
to add a lot to it. Yeah, it's got good bones. From what I understand, the whole bricking console things, I don't necessarily know if there's any additional evidence. Supposedly there's just one guy who says his console was actually bricked, meaning it will literally not turn on no matter what. Otherwise, I believe you have to do a hard reset of your PS4, having to unplug and everything. And then other people have had to do the hard reset, but also start their PS4 in safe mode and then rebuild the database, something like that. Kotaku has a write-up about it. It's pretty good. But yeah, that's what I've heard. I played for 30 minutes yesterday and I was like, dude, I really don't want this to I don't want my console to go on the fritz or anything. It's freaking me out.
Yeah. I saw a statistic, and I don't know how verifiable this is, but it was on Twitter, and someone said there's been around 400 plus cases of the bricking. So if you and they did, I don't know what the total number of players, but it was in the maybe 1 or 2 million or something. So the percentage of actual cases is not even 1% of the player base. Again, I don't know how factual that is, but that's, I don't know. It's a lot bigger issue if you just kind of Google it on YouTube, because everyone's talking about it. But it doesn't seem like it's, every other player's, it's happening. So, I have the vanilla PlayStation and it runs fine. So,
yeah, same. I have the vanilla PlayStation. I loved that Greg Miller was talking about it on Kind of Funny Games Daily at Bricking Consoles, and then he got on to play Anthem, and I guess it happened to him. Yeah, yep. He got that blue screen.
Yeah, I played, I tried to play last night and I couldn't get into a mission after 3 attempts, so I logged out, but I was kind of scared to turn it on, but I haven't had it happen to me yet, so.
The The one thing that really has me kind of somewhat turned off on Anthem is the fact that, and it only happens when I'm in conversations. I get dropped every time I'm in a conversation. Like, I'll just pop up to somebody and be like, hey, tell me your life story. And then they're just like, oh, yeah, get halfway through, and then I get dropped from the server. And I'm like, oh, my God.
Yeah,
it's happened to me like 6 times.
Okay, so you're on PlayStation, right?
Yeah, I have the vanilla PlayStation.
Do you have like the bad audio bug?
I don't think so, no.
Dude, this is the worst
What
thing
is
for
that?
me. It's horrible. It's the worst thing. And I'm not the only one that has it. I've been on Reddit talking about it, and there's been like a few other people that have confirmed this, but like there's such bad crackling like everywhere. Like even if I'm walking around Tarsus, just listening to people talk, you can hear the crackling. It's like loud and annoying, and it's with everything. It's like when doors open and people are talking, and it's worse like when you're doing missions and stuff. But it's becoming unbearable. It's horrible.
It's just constant.
Like there will be. It probably happens about.
So much.
It probably happens about 75% of the time. But like the times it's not happening is like when you're loading in or like flying. But like when you start fighting and people are talking, it's horrible, dude. It's so bad.
When there's really not that much sound, that's
yeah,
when you don't notice it.
Yeah, I'll be walking around Tarsus, and you can open the door to get to the main market area, and like the doors like slam and it crackles in. It does that every time. It's horrible.
I would definitely not do that.
Yeah, it's weird because you'll be out in a mission, and sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. I mean, when there's a lot of stuff going on, it's pretty bad. But like, if it's just kind of mild combat, if that is a thing, it's not that bad. But like, God, happening at Fort Tarsus drives me up a wall because it's just there's nothing happening and it's crackling horribly. So that's the worst. Like sometimes I can get past the connection errors. It happens with every game, but like that is constant and it's horrible.
Yeah, it's one thing to be dropped, but it's another to actually like be able to play the game, but you're constantly being tortured.
Pretty much, yeah. It's so bad.
That's awesome. For me, this week, I have as well been playing Anthem. Anthem got me really antsy to play Destiny, which is a little weird. So I'm going to pop back into Destiny 2, probably going to pick up Forsaken. And I have been playing more Hollow Knight. It's kind of just a thing. I made a joke about it on Twitter, and I was being serious. Just play Hollow Knight, guys. It's rewarding.
It's funny because... I kind of have the itch to play Destiny again too. So,
right? Yeah, I see on so many sites that are just like, I saw it on Reddit the other day on Anthem subreddit. Mm-hmm. Somebody was like, "Yeah, Anthem got me really excited for the Division 2." And I was like,
"Oh my gosh,
you got me!" All right.
Yeah, because the new Gambit Prime?
Yeah, Season of the Drifter.
The Gambit Prime mode where it's just like one match instead of 3, I guess. That looks fun because you could, play a lot more instead of spend like 20 minutes on one match. That looks fun.
Yeah, I don't even have Forsaken yet. I stopped playing I stopped playing before Curse of Osiris, and then I came back to play the campaign of Curse of Osiris because I'm really into the story and the lore of Destiny, and then I popped back in when the Warmind DLC dropped, and I played very little of it, didn't get too far into it, and just kind of stopped playing for some reason. Mm-hmm. I don't know why. I think just something else came up, and then when Forsaken came out, I was like, no, I'm done giving Bungie my money, because I feel bad saying this, but they just constantly are like, yeah, we're listening, this is happening. And I understand development takes a long time, but my constant thing is just like, okay, you keep saying you're listening. When did you start? Like, I don't understand. I understand development is a constantly evolving thing, and you guys, Forsaken was a big deal for them. Yeah. They put it out and it fixed a lot of issues people had, and they're like, oh yeah, we had to work on these 2 other DLCs first and then we could put out Forsaken. And I'm like, cool, but when in that process did you start listening? Because you couldn't beef up Warmind a little bit or something?
Yeah,
come on, guys. But yeah, that's my thoughts in a nutshell.
I was pretty much
but now I'm gonna get back into it because Anthem, it's not bad, and I think actually Destiny could learn some things from Anthem, which is probably a controversial thing to say at the moment.
Probably.
But, yeah. Somebody's just gonna like assassinate me now. But
Uh-oh.
yeah. If you could find me.
Good luck.
Yeah, Idaho's a big place. Oh crap, I just revealed my location.
You really narrowed it down now.
Yeah, now you just have to worry about an entire state. It's fine. It's cool.
Yeah, I think you're right in the fact. Also controversial that I mean, Destiny probably could learn something, but I think the basics of Anthem are so much fun, like the flying and the combat. Like the flying's perfect. But like,
except for when you go into free play and you hit that ceiling, and you're just like, "What?" It's just a storm. You're like,
yeah,
okay.
It's like all of a
Just
sudden the
knocks
weather
me out
gets
of the
real
air.
bad, and
Yeah. So stupid.
yeah. I hope BioWare sticks with it. It's also a little worrisome that the numbers aren't there for them, so they may back out of it. I don't know if they would, but it's not it's not good right now. So I don't know. They could pull the plug anytime, I would assume. So I don't know.
I'm hoping that they're gonna put the time and effort into it. Honestly, there are a few things that could get me back into it, like just really quickly. One, I just kind of have to get over that stupid how it gives you that gate where it's like, okay, cool, you have to finish these trials.
Yeah.
I play by myself, so a lot of those things I didn't get to do, or I just didn't do.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to get over that, and then I just want more customization. That's it. Everybody talks about how amazing the customization is. I'm like, yeah, color. That's it.
Yeah,
there's barely anything else.
The sad thing is too was because I saw this, I think it was on Reddit, I don't remember, where they were showing off the customization before the game came out, and they had all these different types of armor sets and stuff, and then when you get into the game, there's 3 total, and that's bad.
Yeah, I've heard about this, all these collages and stuff coming out, where it's the comparison between the early customization live streams and what the game actually came out with. It's like, ooh.
Yep, it's the color customization is pretty good, but past that, it's pretty non-existent.
Yeah, it's very in depth. It's the amount of customization I'd say that is currently in Anthem is if you went into your closet and literally all you had was t-shirts, the same t-shirt but all different colors.
Pretty
That's
much.
it. It's
yeah.
Everything looks the same, but it's just a different color. Okay.
Or I would also say, just to kind of defend them just a little bit, would be that it would be every shirt, every color imaginable on the color wheel. So you have a billion shirts, but they're all just colors.
Yeah, there's a lot of colors. But yeah, this is not the Anthem podcast.
No, it's not.
But I always enjoy. I'm not shitting on Anthem because I think once again it has good bones. But I do enjoy talking to people about it. But what I really want to do is get into some of this news. Our first news story is actually over on Polygon. This written by Allegra Frank. This one kind of hits home for me because my best friend jokes about this kind of stuff all the time. He thinks it's the funniest thing ever. So this is Disease Sim Plague Inc. will add anti-vaxxers after player petition. Coming soon to the virus spreading strategy sim, Plague Inc. is a new threat to humanity. Anti-vaxxers. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to tell you my political beliefs or anything because that's not what this podcast is about, and this is not what Parallax is about.
Right.
But the person who's writing this obviously detests anti-vaxxers, and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Should you have the luxury to never encounter one of this crusade of science deniers? A brief definition: anti-vaxxers are people who choose not to vaccinate their kids for reasons religious, political, or otherwise misguided.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're pretty accurate on your assessment there.
Yeah, they kind of just shit on them, which, I mean, yeah, once again, I'm not going to get into it. It could be warranted, it could not be warranted, but it's funny that they just shit on them.
Yeah. It's funny too how it was a petition to get it added to the game, and the guy's the dev's fine, all right, we got it, we'll add it.
Yeah. So early this month, Plague Inc. players petitioned the developer, I do not know how to say that, Endemic. I'm going to go with Endemic Creations to add the anti-vaccine movement to the game in which players work to spread different pathogens worldwide. A Change.org post demanding that the anti-vaxxers update made it to the developer, which soon, the developers are like, okay, fine. If the petition hits 10K, then they're going to put in this scenario. And it end up at the time of writing of this article, which was, I think, a couple days ago, actually. It was February 28th. At the time of writing of this article, it had 21K signatures. And it's like, I love this part, which the petition, which simply reads, anti-vaxxers are stupid.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. I don't know too much about the game. It sounds fun, but I think this
basically, I haven't played it myself, but you basically just design your pathogen to try to wipe out humanity and like all life on Earth.
So is the goal to like kill as many people as possible with your specific...
Yeah, it's to kill as many. It's try to wipe out everyone as fast as you can, kind of like as efficiently as you can.
Right.
And then constantly like new scenarios come up where it's like, oh, this guy started working on a cure. So then you have to like, let's say it's only like a bloodborne pathogen, or it's only like a bloodborne illness, but then you get like an upgrade that you can make it airborne, which makes it spread so much faster. It's crazy. It seems like currently there's no like specific release date for this update, but it seems like the developers are currently working on it and they're going to bring it in here. Something I never actually thought about with Plague Inc. is that it says in the article that the game brings attention to a diverse array of potential health risks, including science deniers, xenophobes, and reality TV fiends. I never actually thought that. For some reason, I just didn't think about the whole, like, it actually brings attention to these, like, health risks that nobody might have thought about. I was like, oh, it's kind of like a fun game, but I guess that's probably the point.
So it's an educational game.
Yeah, it's an educational game that doesn't like shove it in your face that it's educational, I guess.
There you go.
Which is probably the best kind of educational game. It's not like Pajama Sam or something like that. Which are great games, by the way. Just saying.
I have no idea.
You have to fish the toaster out of the like little river. You've never played Pajama Sam?
I've never played Pajama Sam. No,
makes sense. They're pretty stupid. They're pretty bad games, but they're really funny. Our next story is over on IGN. This written by Shabana Arif, and it is Inside's Real Doll Collector's Edition delayed. The Mystery Inside Collector's Edition from Playdead, I Am 8-Bit, and sex doll manufacturer Real Doll has been delayed to ensure a perfect, in quotes, package. This is the worst. I love this so much, but I hate it so
Premium
much at the same time.
Right here.
Yeah, they really tried hard to get innuendo in here.
Perfect.
I Am 8-Bit announced the collaboration last year, which was initially due to release in Q1 2019. It's still in production and is planned for 2019 release still, but a new date has not been specified. And the developer went on to say, thank you for giving us the time to perfect the details of this amazing, special, and unique package. We're working diligently with our partners at Playdead and Real Doll to ensure that this is my favorite part about this article, is that it has like little redacted pieces. It's like, haha, still not telling you what it is.
Yeah.
To make sure that this redacted is of the utmost quality. No one has ever made something like this before, so the R&D time is vital to producing a high quality redacted. So it seems like what people know of this is that it is going to include a retail copy of Inside for PS4, and that customers will receive Steam keys for both Inside and Limbo, which will be emailed to them after purchase. But still, nobody actually knows what's on the inside of this box. Fans had until June 8th, 2018 to pre-order, so if you wanted to get a look inside the $375 box, you'll have to ask for a peek on somebody else's. I'm not even joking. I actually thought about buying this when it first came out, when it was first announced, because it's so weird.
The suspense alone, I just want to know what's inside of it.
It's gonna. They say it's never been done before, so I really hope they just make a sex doll. I just think that would be funny.
You know, it's like they. So I wonder if the whole thing is like making bad jokes, because I thought about this now after you read it. Is like they have a bunch of redacted statements, but then it says so the R&D time is vital. I wonder if R&D stands for anything, because they could have just said development time is vital, but they said R&D time. So I wonder if that stands for anything, if it's like more code to like, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's a weird hint at what it is.
Yeah.
I really hope that it's just like that weird like blob of flesh that made into a sex doll. It's just like the grossest thing you could possibly think of, just made into a sex doll. They're like, why not? I mean, somebody bought it. Like, I'm assuming like hundreds or thousands of people have bought it.
Oh my god. Well, so the image that we see too, like, is this actually like the official image? That's like the teaser image for the actual box that's covered in the blob silhouette.
Yeah, when I looked at it on IM8bit like last year, this is the only picture they had.
Oh my gosh.
Was this box.
Oh man. Yeah, that's there's a lot left up to the imagination with this.
I think that's the point. Yeah, they're just like, what could it be? Nobody knows. When the story initially came out, the whole real doll like going with them, they're just like sex doll manufacturer, and everybody's like, what the fuck?
What?
Yeah. Why?
It's an interesting partnership right there. So it'd be interesting. I'm gonna keep my eye on this for sure. I definitely want to see what's in the box.
You definitely should. Everybody's
imagine
excited to find out what's inside the box.
Imagine like the unboxings for this. Like if someone doesn't know what it is and it turned out to be something like, super like not safe for work, and they do it.
Yeah, they won't even be able to post it on YouTube. They'd like age gate their videos and shit.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that would be funny.
That'd be hilarious. Somebody bought it specifically to unbox it, and they can't. Because like Twitch doesn't allow illicit content either. So it's like, where are you going to get this up?
Perfect. I'm excited for the future of this.
You could put it on Twitter. There's all sorts of boobies and stuff on Twitter.
You always like to point that out too.
Well, I mean, the boobies are everywhere, but the Twitter is like, it's a little egregious. There's always those like weird like porn bots that add you on Twitter. You're like, what? How?
They're a thriving community of bots.
Apparently, yeah. And our next story is over on Game Informer. This written by Elise Favis, something like that.
I want to say
know
Ellis,
how to pronounce names.
But that's because I want to say Ellis Favis. It's like the same thing, Ellis Favis, but that's not it.
Hey, maybe it is. Let's do that. Absolver Mutant Year Zero headline. Absolver and Mutant Year Zero headline April's Humble Monthly Bundle. Humble Monthly Bundle, which offers curated games each month for a low price, has revealed its headliner games for April. With a subscription of $12 per month, you can play April's games, some of which include Absolver, Northgard, which I have not played and or heard of, but I might actually check it out now. And Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden. The rest of this article is kind of just a whole lot of like describing what the games are.
It's a lot of plugging on their own.
Yeah, they're like, check out everything we wrote about these weird games.
Yep,
like, thanks.
That's it.
That's really nice of you. We have spoken about Mutant Year Zero before, so feel free to check out our last episodes, because if Game Informer can plug, so can we.
Perfect.
It's an RTS, similar to XCOM, but you have like weird anthropomorphic animal creatures. So the main one is like one that looks like Howard the Duck. The other that looks like, I'm blanking on the name and basically everything associated with this character, but the weird pig man that's in Beyond Good and Evil. One looks like him. There's just like these weird anthropomorphic creatures. It's an RTS, and Absolver is a kind of like strategy-esque fighting game. Is a way to say it. It's really hard.
It is really hard. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like that it actually. Oh, you know what? Josh might like this game. Like a card game, but instead you are fighting people. Because you actually like collect. You like build the deck of cards or whatever, and you use it as like different fighting styles and stuff. It's really cool. It's so freaking hard. I've died so many times in this game. It was actually a free PlayStation Plus game a few months ago, I think.
Yeah, that's why I played it. I think it was a little while ago, but yeah, it's pretty hard because I think you can do it co-op too, like online with a friend, and that's what I
Yeah.
did. And you can just beat the shit out of each other, but you can just run around and fight. I guess was it other online people or like bots and stuff. But yeah, it was pretty fun. It took a little while to kind of like get into it and kind of figure out what the whole game was because like the first like hour I was just running around just button mashing, and that's definitely not what you do. So
Yeah, no.
um,
You have like the stamina gauge, and if you run out of stamina, you'll get demolished.
right, yep, pretty much.
The fun thing about like co-op in this, I guess, however you'd say co-op, because I don't know if you can actually, it's like couch co-op. I think it's only online, similar to like the Dark Souls games, but you can actually hit each other, which really sucks. Because you end up like accidentally punching your teammate like all
Yeah.
the time.
Especially if you're like teaming up on one person and you're like I don't know, PlayStation. I had a hard time like aiming some of my like hits if they're like moving real fast, so I would just like deck my friend in the face. It's not good.
Yeah, it's like a kung fu movie where like this amazing like master of kung fu makes his friend like beat up his other friend or something
Pretty
just
much.
by
Yeah.
cleverly evading them. Yeah, Absolver's really fun. I do not know literally anything about Northgard. I love that the only thing that Game Informer says about Northgard is Northgard wasn't reviewed by us, but it looks to be an interesting Viking
One
RTS.
sentence. Yeah.
They couldn't look anything
They
up
couldn't like
based
link
on
us to like
Northgard?
the like game website or anything. They just it's not on our site, so we're not gonna plug it. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
We
Cool.
didn't know about it, so neither will you. Yeah, have a good day.
Right.
Bye.
Read our reviews.
Yeah, that seems to be what it is. I'm bringing up Northgard's Steam page. Northgard is a strategy game based on Norse mythology in which you control a clan of Vikings vying for control of a mysterious newfound continent. Cool. That is, I mean,
Sounds good. Interesting.
yeah.
More information than what Game Informer gave us.
Yeah, right? Game Informer gave us, yeah, we didn't review it.
But it's a
good
game.
luck with that. It exists. Have fun with that. So yeah, all of these can be found on Humble Bundle for $12. So do you purchase stuff through Humble Bundle a lot? I'm not like a PC gamer. But you
Uh,
actually have a decent PC. I assume.
no, I don't know why people think that. Josh thought that too. I have a Mac, so my my games are severely limited on Steam.
I would
Um,
assume the reason they thought that is because you're a web developer.
yeah, it's pretty ironic. Well, it's funny too because like Mac is for best for development, just because it's built a little bit better for that. But I would definitely prefer a PC just because I could play games on it. I mean, I could play like like some not so beefy games on it, but other than that, and there's not a lot on Steam like just for Mac. So nope, don't play on PC.
Yeah.
Not really.
I was gonna actually. I've brought this up several times because this comes up actually a lot on this podcast because of our God Bless the Crowd segment. And I'm gonna feel bad saying this since you own a Mac. Who the hell is like developing games for Mac? Nobody plays games on Mac.
No one does. I don't know. It's yeah. I mean, I'm sure you would develop it just to reach more people. I mean, that would be like the safe reasoning for that. Like, I'm sure people I mean, there's better Macs that have they're a little bit beefier machines, but it's nothing like a. I mean, if you could spend like $1,500 on a PC and get a decent solid PC. You don't for a Mac. That's like bottom tier, so you're not going to get too much with it. So.
Yeah, the way I've always thought about Macs is whereas like custom built PCs or just like Windows PCs and such in general, or even like Linux PCs. Linux is for like the hardcore PC nerds. Those guys are intense. But like just standard Windows PCs, they're pretty much decent for gaming. It's like, hey, this is where games are. And then Mac, I've always thought of it as kind of like a development tool. Like,
Yeah, it is.
if you're a photographer, you use Mac because, I mean, the thing I love most about Mac, because my best friend who I talked about earlier, when I initially started making videos with him, we used the like the Mac software, like the Final Cut Pro, and it's actually a really decent piece of like development software versus on Windows. You have like Windows Movie Maker, and it's just ball sack. It's the worst.
I don't do too much of that, and I heard the Windows is not very good.
It's so bad. Yeah, I taught myself how to edit videos in Premiere Pro because I was so sick of doing stuff in Windows Movie Maker, and then I ended up like I taught myself a little bit, and then I took a class on it, so I'm decently better now. But yeah, it's Windows Movie Maker is the worst.
Yeah,
it's just terrible.
Yeah, I would like to play games on PC. It'd be nice to just to eventually maybe get off consoles, just to have everything in one place. But I gotta buy one first, and I don't have the money.
All right then.
Yeah.
So now on to our next segment of the podcast. This is basically all of the stories that we might not have like had a whole lot to talk about, or it's normally just stories we didn't have a whole lot to talk about, or just zero experience in it. This is our news cram segment. I don't know if you want to do it. Josh always goes cram, cram, cram,
cram, cram, cram.
There you go. We both did it. Just keeping Josh's feelings alive, I guess.
Oh my God.
So our first story is over on IGN. It is get at Sundown shots in the dark for free with IGN Prime. It seems like a conflict of interest that IGN is advertising that, but no big deal. Next one over on IGN is PlayStation Plus March 2019 games include Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered and The Witness. I'm actually very excited for The Witness. Could not care less about the Modern Warfare Remastered, but The Witness I never had a chance to play, and I enjoyed Braid enough. I haven't gotten too deep into Braid, so I'm very excited to try out The Witness. The next story is over on Game Informer. This is new music is about to drop on Beat Saber. On Twinfinite, we've got Stardew Valley update 1.3.36. Adds several new supported languages. It actually added like 6 new languages. It's pretty cool.
Whoa.
And something that the article title doesn't tell you, it also tells you about the bug fixes that come in that update. So that's pretty nice. Also on Twinfinite, we've got Nintendo eShop updates bring several indies and classics to Switch this week. And also on Twinfinite, there's a lot of Twinfinite.
A lot of Twinfinite.
There's generally a lot of Twinfinite. They're pretty much the only people who actually report on indie games.
They have their articles are they just spell them out all the time.
Yeah, they put out a lot of content.
Yeah,
it's pretty crazy. This one over on Twinfinite as well. You can pre-register for Stardew Valley's Android version now, and the multiplayer is coming to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One soon. On Polygon, we've got Humble announces its 20th Pay What You Want Indie Games bundle. That is a very cool story. I would check that one out. You could pay $2 or something to get 2 games. The average is $3.36 and you get 4 games, and then if you pay $10 you get 6 games. It's crazy.
Whoa.
That's
awesome. Pretty good deal.
And the interesting part about that, something I did want to bring up with it, is that they said if you pay the average, which is $3.36, so I'm assuming the more people that so let's say if somebody goes in and 10 people purchase it, and 6 of them decided to buy it for $6 or whatever, I wonder if that average would go up to basically $6 and you would be forced to pay $6.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, if the way they make a lot of their money is the price constantly going up because people being generous, because they also actually they give away I don't know how much of it, but they actually give away a portion of the proceeds of these sales to charity. So
whoa, that's cool.
Yeah, it's
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it says in the article. I think it's 10 or 15%, something like that. But still, Humble Bundle gets a lot of sales. So
yeah.
Makes sense. This one over, our next story over on Polygon is Epic Game Store's latest PC exclusive is Shakedown Hawaii. And our last story for News Cram is over on Game Informer, and this is a big Wargroove update is coming tomorrow. The details in the article, but like John and I were talking about the Wargroove before we started the podcast, and how it, like, we've heard it's very difficult. And actually it details out in the article that the difficulty is something that they'll be working on in this update. So
yeah, and apparently there wasn't a campaign checkpoint, like there wasn't a checkpoint system before. So I guess,
yeah, I think if you like died, you had to like redo that battle, but I guess battles would like take a while.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, so I don't really know. I might be mixing that up with what I've heard about Into the Breach, but I'm pretty sure that that's something I've heard about Wargroove. You know what? I actually just realized something. So, did you hear, like, I think it was last year or maybe the year before, that IGN or its parent company actually purchased Humble Bundle?
That sounds familiar, yeah.
Yeah, it was like last year or the year before. I just realized IGN, and I'm assuming they do this on purpose, IGN almost never reports on anything Humble Bundle related. And I'm assuming that's the reason, is because they own it.
Yeah, I guess that would be, I mean, what? Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, it would be like some sort of conflict of interest.
Yeah. Huh. Well, I mean, I guess they could just, because I mean, if, you know, I guess if they wanted to drive traffic there, they could just all they would do is just promote it, but that would not be good.
Yeah, it's not, I mean, it is like a conflict of interest, but it's just like how like the IGN Prime thing is a conflict of interest, which I don't actually know how IGN Prime works. I like don't subscribe to it. They put out a lot of indie games with IGN Prime.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's just like a subscription and you just get stuff sometimes. I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, there you go. I'll have to look it up after this because I constantly report on it, but I never actually find out what it is.
Yeah.
Now it's time to move on to one of my favorite segments of the podcast. This is where Josh, he goes into different crowdfunding sites, grabs us some sweet indie games that are on these crowdfunding sites, or just terrible ones, generally really bad ones. And we talk about them, and I mean, I'm trying really hard to be positive about them, so... Because in the past, I have not been. I have been somewhat mean about them.
A little bit,
today, yeah. Today we have two. We have Deer Simulator, a quite normal deer game. That's definitely that's
quite normal.
Yeah, it's that's an underestimate.
Yeah,
they're cutting themselves short. This is excessively normal. And then we have Hop Hop Fox, a cute adventure puzzle game for Steam Plus. I'm assuming that's just means to say like Steam Plus enamel pins, but it's written weird. For some reason, I think it's written weird. So let's talk about Deer Simulator. This game is weird as hell.
Yes, it is.
It's definitely odd. So you could do like there's a normal deer and your neck.
I was
like,
gonna say,
elongates.
are you looking at the GIF of this right now?
Yeah, your neck elongates and you shoot across like Spider-Man, basically.
Yeah, it looks like you could just like control the head and you can like move wherever you want on the screen, and it's just like the neck will stretch all the way to that point where your mouse is.
Yeah, they actually have like additional, like I think they have different kinds that you can actually play as. So there's the standard deer where you can swing like Spider-Man, and then there's the bipedal deer, or bipedal, however you want to say it. He stands up on two legs, and he's like this weird kind of buff deer who like punches the shit out of stuff. Yeah. It's awesome. You can actually you can ride horses as the bipedal deer. You can like ride dragons as it as well. And there was one bit of it. I like how they have like police where it's the like giraffe in a police vehicle, a polar bear in a tank, and then like this weird like robot silhouette. But in the trailer, it shows like you can actually get this weird animal mech that has like polar bears and cows, and you pilot it as your deer.
Yeah, this is
This is a weird game.
Yeah, this is a weird game. Yeah, the mech thing is strange. I'd love
This whole game is
to get the
strange.
inspiration for this.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's like somewhat inspired by like Goat Simulator, because Goat Simulator is super weird.
Yeah. Yeah, this is nothing about this makes sense.
Yeah, I imagine that's the thought, is that it's not all supposed to make sense.
Can I
Plus,
say
it's made by a 24-year-old dude.
Can I say that I'm watching the trailer with the sound off and it shows like the dragon burning a cow and then it just cuts to real life footage of deer
Yeah,
just
yep.
doing nothing. I don't I'm sure he's saying like someone's saying something and but it's just so like
Nope.
weird.
Nobody's saying anything. It's actually just music.
Yep, it's I don't know. It's good.
Yeah, this is a weird game. So at the time of recording, their goal is $4,473, which is
Also
a super
weird.
weird target. Yeah, it's odd. They have 2,781 of those dollars with 22 days left to go.
Wow.
They have 113 backers. That's solid.
That's
that's
good.
I think this game is gonna get funded.
Oh, I
Let's be real.
absolutely think it will.
Especially because of the massive popularity of like sim games, let alone Goat Simulator. This game's totally getting funded. It's
Yep.
so weird.
Yeah, I think games like this where it's like it's a deer simulator, but you can do anything. Like anything that's in the game, you can just manipulate it, and you can swing from light posts with your head. Perfect. There's an audience for that, I'm sure.
Thing. You could be this super jacked deer that punches tigers. It's cool.
Yeah, bears with tanks, perfect.
Some of the stretch goals are actually really interesting. If they hit $10,000, they're gonna put in extinct animals. 20,000, you'll be able to go to space.
Oh, dude, I like it.
Yeah. So I think all you have to do is like pay $9, $12, something like that. Yeah, $12 gets you the Steam key, and it also gets you some digital wallpapers. $22 gets you the Steam key, digital wallpaper, and the closed beta, and it goes on and on from there. I don't know if they have physical goods. Let's check it out.
I think there was a digital art book.
I don't know. You can get a spin-off minigame. That's pretty cool.
What?
Yeah. The currency conversion is a little weird.
I was gonna say
yen
you were
was
saying
this
the
weird.
numbers, and I was like, that is not what it is. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's
it's-
like 50,000, but that's like $400.
Yeah, yen conversion to like the dollar is so weird. Like 250,000 yen is $2,237. That's an oddly specific amount.
So the
It's
the
weird.
last one, the 250,000, you get the ultimate special thanks. Your name will be displayed bigger in staff roll. That's it. It goes from $492 to $2,200, and you're in the staff roll.
I'm assuming you get everything that came before.
I mean, I would
guess.
assume it doesn't say it.
Yeah, they normally like say that. So yeah, it is a little weird that it's like, yeah, if you just want to pay like $2,000, you could just have your name in the game. It's really big.
Wait. So they have. Okay, I see. I read that wrong. Just kidding. I thought it said. I thought because it had 5 out of 5, and I was like, they already got 5 of them, but that's 2,200. That's already the goal, but it's 0. I can't read.
But it's zero.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have one backer at $492. Yeah.
You get the game,
0 backers at the
wallpapers, beta
$447.
access, art books, spin-off minigame. That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm wondering what the spin-off minigame would be, because it's
What
like,
is-
dude,
what is
you got a lot
appearance-
in your game.
What is appearance right? Appearance right. Am I dumb? I don't know what that is. What does that mean?
The image you gave me will appear in the game. Your original image will be on the head of a character in the game. It can be your own illustration, logo, or pet photo. This will be screening. Oh, there will be screening in case it's against copyright or public policy. Yeah, I'm assuming so you can't send him like some DPs and he's going to put it as a character's head.
I hope not.
Yeah,
Although that
right?
would fit right
I
in
hope-
with the game. So
Yeah, there's literally like a hippo with penguin legs, and a Gatlin mouth. So,
Perfect.
you could do almost anything in this freaking game.
Yeah, it's good. I think it'll fund it, no problem.
It'll definitely get funded. Our other game, on the other hand, will probably also get funded. They are only going for $919.
What's with the weird goal amounts?
I don't know. I think it might have something to do with the currency that it's initially in. So, like, that one was in, the Deer Simulator was in yen, and this one is in pounds, I believe.
That makes
so
sense.
maybe that's the way.
It's like, what if there's some, like, marketing team strategy behind this that's like, we need the exact amount, and they're, like, spending weeks, and they come up with $919.
Yeah, they're like, if we get over that, it'll be sweet. But
Yeah.
919 is what we're going for.
That's the dream.
They have $220 out of the 919, and they still have 23 days left to go. They've got 13 backers already. That's crazy.
What is that, like $15 a person? No.
20 bucks I don't know. I'm not gonna do the math. So you'll actually only have to pay $4 to get the copy of this game. I believe this is actually already on Android and iPhone, but they're just trying to bring it to PC, Mac, and Linux. I think that's what they're doing for this one. But it's pretty interesting. There we go, the game. Help the hops escape, navigate them around the dangerous spikes and the hungry foxes, get them in the hot air balloon and to safety. Hop Fox features challenging puzzle-based gameplay with endless replay value. Create your own levels and then defend them against other online or attack their levels for rewards.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it looks... I mean, it looks like a mobile game. So.
Yeah, it definitely looks like a mobile game. It looks super weird.
Yeah, it's very colorful.
Yes, it has a lot of personality, is what I'll say.
A lot of personality.
Interesting enough, the highest that you can actually go on this one is only $21. You get 2 enamel pins and the game. That's it. I'm honestly surprised about that. 4 people have actually backed this. That's probably why it's got so close to its goal. Right. 2 backers on just the 2 enamel pins, I guess.
3
they
people
just wanted
with the 1 enamel pin.
Really?
Yep.
Those guys didn't even know what's happening. Like for oh my god, $13 to $18, you wouldn't pay $5 for that extra enamel pin? Idiots.
Wait, so if you do $9, you just get the pin?
Yeah, limited edition enamel pin of your choice. Yeah. I'm assuming so. I don't think you get the game. But this also comes with, like, the whole, I don't know if, like, in the freaking Deer Simulator, your name is just going to be in the game.
So you could back this game for more than, apparently, the game is $4 because that's the copy of the game. You could give more money, not get the game, and get a pin.
I mean, it wouldn't be the scenario hasn't happened where it's been more money, but there have been collector's editions released, like Titanfall 2's collector's edition that was released without the game. Like you were actually just purchasing like additional stuff, like a steelbook case. They also, I mean, of course, these are like AAA games, but they also, Undead Labs did the same thing with State of Decay 2. They released like a collector's edition that didn't come with the game, but it came with like a steel case, and you got a weird like rubber zombie mask.
Oh,
yeah, it was odd.
Huh. All right.
I can honestly say I would back Deer Simulator if it was if it was gonna come to consoles. That's what I'll say. If it was gonna come to consoles, I would back this game because it's so weird. It would probably take forever considering that the game's mechanics do not seem super suited for consoles. But yeah, Hop Fox, nah, I don't care about that game.
If Deer Simulator came to consoles and was like $10, I'd try it for sure. Yeah, Hop Fox. No, not at all. No, no, not
Like
really.
it looks
It,
like a mobile game.
yeah, I mean it is, but yeah, it's no.
No,
Deer
it's
Simulator
not.
looks like you could just have some dumb fun.
That's very true. It does look a lot like dumb fun. Very dumb fun, in fact.
Very dumb fun.
Just getting this massive mech of like different animals.
Just oh, what they need is like they do this for what's the game called? It's a fighting game. I'm gonna get crucified for this. Soul Calibur 6. Is that the most recent one?
Yeah, I
Where you
think
could
so.
like build characters and like show them online, and then people could like download them. They need to do this for Deer Simulator. We make your own mech with different animals, and you like upload them. People can look at them and then download them to their game. It'd be perfect.
Just make the creepy ass like Kirby
Yeah.
in Deer Simulator.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Like Thomas the Tank Engine. There's so many weird things coming out of Soul Calibur.
Oh yeah, yeah. And there's a lot of creative things too, but I don't think that would translate well into Deer Simulator. So
Definitely wouldn't. Have you
No.
seen like the way that the bipedal horse, like the bipedal deer, he hops on the horse and then like his arms go out like bows. They're just like freakishly bowed outwards.
yeah, that's it almost looks like because the colors are almost the same. Like he got on a horse and then started running because like it looks like the colors are the brown is so like the same. It looks like it looks weird.
He just transformed
Yeah.
into this new creature.
Yep. Yeah, that's good. I get that GIF got 65,000 likes. Of the
That's
horse.
not surprising. This is a weird ass game. I like that the deer like rising out of the water and this is buff ass deer. It got like 3.47 million views apparently.
Yeah, the water and we'll comment that the water just looks like polygons, blue polygons all stitched together. That's the water.
It's not even a good water effect. It's
No,
just like
It's
shapes.
just moving triangles stuck together.
It's awesome. This game looks fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. I'll go on record. If it's $10 on PlayStation at any point, I'll buy it.
I imagine they'll hold you to that. The
Yep.
developer is
they're gonna email me, dude. We heard you. It's on.
So, normally what we would transition to now is actually our indie game release schedule. But we have stopped doing that. And normally we would kind of fill it with like a new little segment that I like to call that I coined is the secret segment. But this week I actually didn't want to do a secret segment. I just wanted to kind of talk to you about Parallax. We obviously talk about it on this show, but for anybody who listens, they might not know that there's like a wealth of like written content and all sorts of stuff on Parallax. So you had like done a site before, correct? And then you made like Parallax within the past year, I believe.
Yeah, so like it was like 2 years ago, I think. I have a funny story about when we ended. Remind me of that. But yeah, it's funny. It's so like yeah, 2 years ago I started with and it actually all started with. Do you remember IGN when they had you could have like your own blog? It was called something.
Yeah, the IGN blog.
Was that what it was? Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Yep. Good. Yeah. So like I had my own one of those because and I was like, oh, I'll try putting out reviews or just to kind of get into the community and see how that goes. And then like there would be like a couple people that would always comment on them, my reviews or whatever I would write, and it'd be the same person. One of them was. I was a little bit younger kid who did the same thing, who would just post on IGN blog, just, hey, you just want to make our own? And I'd kind of wanted to dabble in web design. I was in sales at the time, which is horrible. No one ever do sales. It's awful.
Which is horrible.
Yeah, it's horrible. And I was like, okay, I've always kind of wanted to kind of do web design just because I was curious. Like, we'll try it. So me and him started our own site. And I'll make this short as possible because there's a lot of moving parts to this. So we started one, we got a few people on, he left, started his own thing, And then I kind of did my thing for a while. I was kind of by myself. Me and my little brother did it, and then he actually got a few people on. Like he had like probably 6 or 7 like the like main core of writers and stuff. So eventually I just joined him, and then we made so all those people. We made the Game Bolt that was around for like a year, almost 2 years, and then eventually we all got burned out. So it was like probably 6 or 7 of us that were doing all the work, and we had like a full-fledged like YouTube channel. We would do videos. We would try to all the time. And we had a Twitch channel that we would try to. So we were trying to do everything with like 6 people, and it was rough. We were all kind of in school too, so we all had the time, but it was like, I don't really want to do this today. We all got pretty burnt out. So that ended, and a funny story about that. One of the guys, he's actually like one of my best friends now that came out of that site. He wrote down on a chalkboard when it ended. So I know it ended. What was it? I forgot what it was, but he said like the Game Bolt died on this day, and he like tells me about it like every time we play like a game or something together. He's like, it's still on my chalkboard today. I'm like, dude, that was forever ago. It's like, yep, I just keep it on my chalkboard. I'm like, oh, okay.
He refuses to get. He's gonna get like a custom made tombstone for Game Bolt.
Yeah, because I think it ended in 2016. That's what it was. Yeah, and he's like, that's when it ended, man. I'm like, yeah, I know. I mean, he doesn't like really. He did Twitch stuff. He wrote it down, and like every time we kind of like reminisce and talk about it, he's like, yeah, it ended on this date. I'm like, how do you know that? He's like, I have it written down. I'm like, oh yeah. Yeah. So that, like, I really enjoyed doing it just because I also that kind of got me into web design, but I mean, basically I just kind of started missing doing it, and it's where I met a lot of cool people. And actually, shameless personal plug, I don't know if this counts, but Jake Decker, who actually works at GameSpot now, started with us, so that's pretty funny.
I was actually going to ask you about that. What site that Jake came on at?
Yeah, so he started with, it was funny because he was going to school in California for like video production, and he was working with, he started writing with, they were doing video stuff for the Game Bolt, and then I mean, he was way better than any of us were. And then it was funny, like we were all with him, or like all friends at the time when he was applying to GameSpot, and he's like, I applied, and there's like 3 other people that applied, and I'm so nervous, and for like 24 hours we're all freaking out, and then he got it. And I mean, of course it sucked because he left doing stuff for us, but yeah, now he's with GameSpot. He's been there since, and he's doing a lot of cool stuff over there. So yeah, that's not really a plug, but I don't know what that is.
It's still cool. I mean, since you didn't technically plug, I will. We actually had Jake Decker on the podcast. It was like, I think it was like episode 7 or something. This is our 21st episode, so just things get lost in the mix. But yeah, we did have Jake Decker on. He's a great guy. He's pretty funny.
Yeah, he and I actually finally got to meet him in person last year. We moved up to California for a few weeks, or for a few months, because my wife was doing traveling work.
For a few weeks.
What the hell? Weeks. That's dumb. Yeah, like it was like for half a year. I don't know why I said a few weeks, but yeah. And she was like, "What do you want to do while we're up there?" I was like, "I need to go to San Francisco. I have to meet Jake. We're never going to be in California again." She was like, "Okay." So I finally got to meet him, and he showed me like toured GameSpot and everything. It's pretty cool. And we played what is that VR game? Super Hot, and I sweated a lot. It's a fun game.
It made a really great impression.
Yeah, I was walking around. He was like, we went and did that first. So then after I'm trying to meet everyone, I'm like fanning my shirt. I'm like, how you doing? I'm sweaty. It was great.
You just have like gigantic sweat marks.
Yeah,
like, hey,
it was weird. But yeah, so like I just kind of just missed doing it. So eventually I was like, I'll just do it again. I'll just do it on my own. And the thing with the Game Bolt back then was like, it was like the main core of us, we would always kind of butt heads on like what we'd want to do. Like, so, making decisions would take a little while, a lot of too many cooks in the kitchen, as they say. So this way it's like, I'm just going to start it. I'm going to be the boss, and then I'm just going to make all the decisions. So that way, we can just keep stuff rolling. And I think it's worked out so far. I mean, we have like an editor team, so it's like, it's still like, I like feedback and stuff. So it's not just like my way or the highway. I don't like that. But this way it's like, it's my thing. I want to run it the way I want to run it. And it's been doing so good so far. I will say that we've got large influx of writers that really want to do it. So I'm excited.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who just recently came on and really started to like get crazy, started to write a lot. Some of them might show up on the podcast eventually, depending on their like work schedules and stuff like that. Like Ross is really excited about it. I called him Roger a while ago on the podcast.
Yeah. Roger.
And then so yeah, I called him Roger on the podcast as like a joke, and then later on he was in the Discord and I called him Roger again, and Josh thought it was really funny.
Oh, man.
And it was just like an inside joke between the two of us for a while.
Yeah, he's I would love to have him on. For you to have him on, that would be funny.
He's an interesting guy.
Yeah, he's doing a lot too. He's doing the Facebook, which is nice. Don't have to worry about it. And another shameless plug: we're starting an Instagram thanks to him. So get ready for that too. So he will be.
Yeah, he's working on a lot of the like social media stuff.
Yeah, he's it makes a big difference when you get people in that want to actually do the work. So
that's very true. That's very
Pretty
true.
great.
Hence the whole podcast thing. There was supposed to be an entirely different podcast.
There was. Oh my god.
And like the day that we went to go record, I was all prepared and ready, and then it just was like, nope.
I remember we all met because he, the guy that wanted to do it initially, wanted us all to kind of get together to talk about everything. And I remember being on that, and y'all were kind of like, shooting around ideas. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be pretty cool. And then after that, like nothing for a long time. And then we would try to, hey, is this podcast happening? And he's like, yeah, and it didn't. I was like, okay, what do we do now?
And then eventually I was just like, so I'm going to do an indie games podcast.
Yeah. That was great. You're like, so that was weird. I think I'll always kind of remember that because you were like, so yeah, I'm going to do a podcast. And I was like, okay, great. That sounds perfect. Go for it.
We needed one, and I was like, I want to talk about indie games, so let's freaking do this.
Yep, and I think that's good too, because a lot of these little games, like, I would never hear of any of these, and now I'm going to buy Deer Simulator at one point if it comes to console, so I'm pumped for that.
At one point, if it's $10 and on PS4,
I'll give it, because it's 12 on the Kickstarter. I'll go up to 12, but if it's more than 12, man, you gotta, come on, cut me some slack. I'll go up to 12.
Well, there you go. Yeah, there's a lot of people at Parallax that like they might write on occasion and stuff, but people might not necessarily like know them right off the cuff, just because maybe they haven't been on the podcast or anything. So there's like my personal friend Zoe. She recently started writing. Ross. He started doing the social media. I'm going to be honest, I don't actually know E-Face's name. We just call him E-Face.
I also just call him E-Face. I don't know his name either.
He does some of the social media stuff. He runs the Twitter, basically. He does a really good job doing that. Yeah. There's like a lot of people. Jason does a lot of like, he writes on occasion, but he does a lot more of like the editing stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of people like behind Parallax that people like are like casual readers and stuff just might not know. So to figure, give them a little shout out. They're really cool people. Check them out.
And I know I'll plug a few of our people because I know E-Face. He's in college, right? I think, and he actually is a part of their college Overwatch like team.
Yeah. He's like I want to say. Never mind. I'm gonna not say what I was gonna say.
I don't really know much beyond that. Yeah.
Yeah, he like became part of their Overwatch team. I think that's really cool. He's like a resident esports guy because none of the rest of us know anything.
No, I have no idea.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. So yeah, I just wanted to ask you about Parallax and stuff. So you've actually said something about this before. Why did you name it Parallax Media?
Oh man. Okay, so it's so I got to this point where every time I would try to name anything, I just wouldn't put any thought into it because every time I would play video games and name my character, I always thought this was a super important thing that I would always think about. And then eventually it's like, it doesn't matter. No one cares. Even if you're online and you have some cool name, it's like, it doesn't matter. So that's why when we get to my Twitter handle, that's also why that's stupid.
Yeah, that's an interesting
Twitter
handle you got there.
And there's kind of a story behind that, but the Parallax. So in web design, there's a so you have CSS, which is the cascading style sheets for websites. What gives it like its color and like all the aesthetics of the look and stuff of a website. And there's a feature, it's called Parallax. So basically, like if you scroll, like say you're scrolling down a site and you see like the background image of a section is like moving with while you scroll, that's Parallax. So you can have like the real way to do parallax is have degrees of like you're scrolling. So you could have like the best way to do it. And I think what's that video game? Firewatch? Is that what it's called? I'm gonna sound stupid.
That is a game.
Yeah, that's a game.
Yeah, that
I
is
think
a game.
Their website did it where because it had like the watchtower in the back, and then if you scroll, the most front thing to you scrolls the fastest. So it looks like the stuff in the background is moving slower. And that's basically what parallax is. So it's like one of my favorite things to do when I make a website because parallax looks so cool because you'll be scrolling and like the background images scroll with you, and it makes the site a little bit more lively, I think. So it's like one of my favorite things to do. And I was like, that sounds cool. And I would like Google it to make sure there's not like a bunch of companies named that because I'm surely this isn't my idea. Like I'm sure other people thought of this. And there's a few other companies that are like do like insurance and stuff. So I'm like, okay, there's nothing closely related to like gaming or media or anything like that. So that sounds cool. So that's basically where it came from. It's a web design trick.
Interesting enough, you talking about like Googling to see if there's any places like called Parallax. My initial thought of the name for this podcast was Indie Invasion. And I really liked that name, and it came from what is it? Attack of the Fanboy or something like that. Yeah. I thought that was such a weird thing. So I made an Indie Invasion, but somebody else actually had a podcast called Indie Invasion. So I looked up synonyms for invasions, and Incursion was one of them. And I was like, I like that. That makes sense.
I'll be honest, when you're like, oh, it's the Indie Incursion podcast, I was like, what is Incursion? What does that mean? I had to Google it. I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, what is this? What is this, like some secret gaming lingo I don't know yet? I was like, oh, okay.
I wish I would have named it after something interesting, like game related, like Colin's Last Stand Knockback. Knockback is a term. It's like a fighting game term.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like never thought about that, but that's just such an interesting name.
There's a group that I watch now that do like videos and podcasts, and they're called Special Moves. That rolls off the tongue so well, and I was like, why would I never think of that? It's just
like Xavier Woods is like up, up, down, down.
I haven't heard of that one.
It just makes sense. It's weird. Really?
No, I haven't.
Yeah. Xavier Woods.
That.
He's a wrestler. He's constantly around, kind of funny. He's their like commissioner.
God, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I didn't. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, he has a YouTube channel, like his own kind of like media sphere, called Up, Up, Down, Down. Nice. And it's like, I think it's a podcast, a YouTube channel, all sorts of other stuff.
Right.
But yeah, just interesting names. And I ended up like just choosing the synonym of a word I liked.
Yeah, my first reaction when you're like, because I think you already had like the logo and stuff done, because I wasn't going to tell you no to that, because I didn't, like you already had it done, and you were like, it's Indie Incursion, and I'm like, I don't know what that means. It's just, okay, that sounds like, it sounds a little off, because I never really hear that word, and it sounds a little off. I was like, sounds good, man, and it kind of I kind of like it now, so.
Yeah, it's a weird word, but like you said, it sticks out. Like you don't hear the word incursion all that much. So
no, you do not.
It just kind of, I went with it. I was like, whatever. And we'll soon have like an actual logo of a picture, which is a little weird. Zoe, one of our writers, is helping me like develop a logo for it. We currently like have a logo that I really like that my best friend made. But yeah, we actually need one with a picture because it makes more sense and it's easier.
Cool.
Because like on like Google Play and stuff and Spotify, they took the picture that I used and they like stretched it out so you can't actually read it.
Yep.
And it's really annoying.
I will say too, like every time like like when I go into the Parallax Twitter account and I tweet about the podcast, every time I write or I type in Incursion, I have to double check to make sure I spell it correctly because like I don't know, it's not something that's in my brain. So I'll go back to the YouTube channel and make sure I'm spelling it right because it's like, nope, this is weird. I don't know how to spell this word.
I'm being honest. I do that all the time. I go to like spell a word and then I stop. I Google it and I'm just like, am I spelling this right?
Yep. I have Grammarly, but I don't trust it all the time. And with the word like Incursion, because I don't know it. I've maybe seen it once. Like I don't know what this is, and then Grammarly is like, you spelled this wrong, or like it doesn't show an error, and I'm like, this isn't right. And I Google it, I'm like, oh, it's just a weird word. I don't know what it is.
Or when it's like you look at a word and you're like, it looks like it's spelled weird.
Yep.
And it turns out it's spelled perfectly fine, but you're like, why is it spelled
This
like
looks
that?
weird. Yes. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
Grammarly helps me a lot.
I use Grammarly a lot, and sometimes I feel like it's stupid. I'm like, that's not at all what I meant to say, actually. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's like autocorrect,
Yep.
but on my computer, I'm like, just fuck off sometimes, Grammarly.
It'll like add like S's and stuff to my words. I'm like, you don't know what I'm trying to say. Just go away. And, yeah. It helps sometimes.
It's a good tool, and then sometimes it like doesn't update fast enough, so you're just like, okay, whatever. That's fun. So I wanted to ask you one last question before we end it. I thought this would be fun to kind of round it out. So you actually talked about Jake Decker being on the podcast and being your friend. He was the first person I ever did this segment with when I asked a weird question.
Uh-oh.
And I want to ask you the same weird question. What is like a fear you have that is exceptionally weird? So the one that I used was, I'm afraid of open water. I'm like afraid of the ocean, but specifically because of like the stuff that's inside of it. So I think there's like krakens and sea monsters and shit like that. And it's not just the ocean, it's lakes too, guys. Just any large body of water. Sometimes pools, dark pools. I feel like there's freaky monsters inside. And I thought about this the other day. Another weird fear I have, not being able to see my feet underneath stuff. Or like having my feet close to stuff that I can't see underneath, like cabinets, freaks me out.
That's the second one I don't get. I would like to make a comment on the first one. So when I was a kid, because my parents had a pool in the backyard, I was also terrified of like going out into the middle of the water. Like I would have to like hang on to the edge to like, if I want to go to the deep end, to like scoot along the edge. I would never go out in the middle because I feel like a shark would come out of the bottom of the pool and eat me. So
Exactly.
I can kind of understand that. I don't have that fear as an adult, but I can.
Sure.
But I guess a weird fear for me. So I have one. I guess this will qualify. So like I have arachnophobia. I'm like deathly terrified of spiders. Because when I was 10, my dad let me watch. Was it called Arachnophobia? Yeah, and that pretty much scarred me for life.
Nice.
So I can't, even if it's, I'm slowly getting over like really, really small spiders. Like if it's smaller than like a dime, that's a little big. If it's, half the size of a dime, I was like, okay, I don't really care if, he's here. But anything bigger than like a dime, I'm like, I'll freak out. I can kill him. I have to run away like a little girl, then kind of come back. But my fear is like, say I'm like using the bathroom and I can't, like I'm, going to the bathroom. I'm probably doing number 2, so I can't really leave. If I glance over somewhere real quick and I see one, that's a fear because like it's there.
That's
and
like your worst nightmare.
Yeah,
you can't do anything
because
about
if I
it.
leave, I'm going to be running around and there's going to be shit going everywhere. But if I stay there, the spider's right there. So like it's a weird, like stuck between a rock and a hard place. I think about that probably 95% of the time I'm going to the bathroom.
Oh my god, that'd be amazing. You're like, my weird fear is pooping because every time I poop, I think there might be a spider next to me.
Yeah, and it's a little bit legitimized because I have a story with this. It's not pooping, but there was one time when I was driving to school several years ago, and it's just a fear in general that I'll open something or open a door or just anything, and a spider will be there. It's not like this overwhelming like I'm not like dreading everything I open. It's just this little thing in the back of my head, like there could be one here. Like if I open the door to some room, like there could be one, but not like a can of beans. There's not gonna be a spider in there. But like, so one time I was driving to school, and I pulled down the visor to check something on my hair, or face, or something, or I don't know what I was doing, and there was a spider on the mirror, and of course I freaked out because I was driving, like I was getting out of my driveway, so I was moving, and I flipped it down, and I freaked out, and I almost like fell off the driveway, so that freaked me out. And then, so of course I was like shaking and freaking out the whole time because like I swiped at it, and of course the worst thing about a spider, when you see one, if it disappears. So I swiped at it. I didn't know where it was. So the whole time I'm driving to school, I'm like, there's a spider in my truck, and I don't know where it is. Great, I'm going to die. So I get to school, jump out of my truck so I can go to school, and I guess I wasn't paying attention or I was looking at my phone. I walk, and then I stop, and like right in front of me where I stopped is this big spider web that I almost walked into. And I went around that, and I went to school, and I died a little bit inside. So like now every time if there's a situation where there could be a spider, like, you know, there's probably one in here. There could be one in here. I freak out just a little. Just a little.
You're like, every time I go to get in my car, I toss in an insecticide grenade real quick.
And so since then, especially the car thing, every time I open my visor, I remember that every single time. So it's like, I know I'm going to pull it down. I know there's not going to be one there because what are the chances? But every time I just remember that. I'm like, there could be one, and I could freak out. It's great.
That's pretty solid. I once had a wasp like go through my window while I was driving. They scared the shit out of me. And I just like basically had to like watch it as I drove.
That's the worst.
Cause yeah, it just sat on like my dashboard, like basically staring at me. I was like, this thing's going to sting the shit out of me. Or it's going to like bite me. It's going to piss me off. Didn't do anything. And then I squished the shit out of it when I got home.
That's the thing, right? They never do anything and they would kill them.
Yeah, right. I had like this moral issue with killing spiders for the longest time, and then they just started pissing me off, so I just started killing them.
I saw, I think it was on Reddit one time where it was someone was talking about, I wish we could just talk to them because they could be like, hey, I'm over here, you're over there. If you just stay over there, I'll leave you alone. And they could be like, okay, it'd be great.
They're also 8-legged vampires, so.
Yep, and that's the worst part about it is like. I'm not really, like, I don't mind snakes or, like, bees or anything like that, or, like, cockroaches or really anything else. But spiders, like, the way they move is so much more creepy. I can't stand it.
Well, that's pretty solid. Those are some good fears you got there. Definitely. I mean, they're weird, but not excessively weird.
I think the poop thing it's probably a little more individualized, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely. Like the fear of a spider coming at you while you're deucing. Yeah, that's.
I'm glad everyone knows that about me now. Good.
Right? I mean, Jake he said that he's afraid that he's gonna get stabbed in the eye by umbrellas. So there you go.
Yeah, that's weird. Yep, that's weird.
After he said that, I was like, oh my God, there's so many pokey things that nobody thinks about.
So many pokey things.
You could get stabbed by anything. It's crazy. Like, I have a bunch of action figures on my shelf. I could fall into it and just die. Like, you never know.
Taken out by toys.
That's weirder things have happened, I guess. That's about it for this episode of the Indie Incursion podcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you're listening to this, make sure you give it a like or follow or whatever, depending on the platform you're on. We are currently on. I have it on Google Play, YouTube, and Spotify, but I will be getting it to iTunes and other things. Eventually, once I stop being super lazy, it's a whole thing. Don't worry about it. I have to make an iTunes account. It's like
perfect.
Yeah. It's a whole thing. If you guys would like to chat with us outside of the show, you can chat with me at Hyde Legion on Twitter, and I believe your handle is at Disco Panda 9000 or something like that.
That is correct, all lowercase.
There you go, at Disco Panda 9000. So what's the story behind that? You said there's a story behind it?
It's a small story, yeah. So when in the days of Halo 2, I think Halo 2. I don't remember. One of those, I think I was in high school. Which one was out when I was in high school. I had a couple friends that we were like friends. We didn't hang out too much, but they one time I invited a bunch of people over for like a summer party or something, and it made my birthday, whatever. But two of those guys came, and then of course I had an Xbox. Like, hey, do you play? And they were like, yeah, we play, and they were like super good at it. And they were like kicking everyone's ass. And they had like super silly like online names, and one of them was like Fire Panda Disco Jet or something dumb. I was like, that's super creative and stupid. I like that. That's kind of where I kind of got that from. And I think if you Google Disco Panda, there's a really cool image that comes up. It's like a three-headed panda that's like shooting out rainbows, and I thought that was pretty cool. So
I'm going to be honest, every time somebody tells me to like look up something that seems like completely normal, it's generally like some creepy sex thing. So
it's
I'm
definitely
kind of
not.
terrified to look
It's
this
not.
up. Oh, yeah. It's like just a normal panda.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Just normal pandas, not a creepy sex thing. So there you go, guys. It's you can talk to me at High Legion and John at Disco Panda 9000. If you guys would like to check out our written content, go check out parallaxmedia.one. All sorts of great written content there, and look out for our newly made Instagram, and make sure to follow us on Twitter. That's it for this episode of the Indie Incursion podcast. I will see you guys next week. I hope you guys have a great day.